Good morning, students. Welcome to Science Online Learning. In today's science class, we are going to learn chapter 4 in chemistry, atoms, molecules, and radicals. So, in our previous sessions, we have learned about atoms and molecules, and in today's session, we are going to focus on radicals. Let's get started with a quick recap of what we have already learned. So, what are atoms? An atom is the smallest part of an element that takes part in a chemical reaction. And these atoms cannot exist independently, so that is why they combine with each other to form molecules. So, molecule is nothing but the smallest part of an element or a compound that can exist independently. So, you must remember that a molecule is made up of two or more atoms that can exist independently. Then what is meant by radical? So radicals are a kind of entity, okay? They are kind of substances, and these substances can be either atom or a group of atoms with a charge on it. So if it is an atom, it will have a charge on it, and if it is a group of atoms which behave as a single atom, then again it will have a charge on the group. And radicals also have valency, and they take part in a chemical reaction as a single units. So radicals are a kind of entity. Entity means it is a kind of substance that can be an atom with a charge. Charge means it can have a positive charge or a negative charge on it, or a group of atoms behaving as a single atom. Sometimes it can even be a group of atoms behaving as a single atom with a charge on the group. So radicals have valency too, and they take part in chemical reactions as single units. Table 4.5 shows some positive radicals and table 4.6 shows some negative radicals. So positive radicals are positively charged substances and negative radicals are negatively charged substances. Radicals are substances that are capable of independent existence, which means they can exist independently, but they generally form compounds. So these type of compounds are formed by the combination of oppositely charged radicals. For example, hydrogen hydrogen is positively charged radical. It can combine with chloride, which is a negatively charged radical, to form hydrogen chloride. So when oppositely charged radicals combine with each other, their charges are neutralized. For example, one calcium radical can combine with one carbonate radical, and so calcium is positively charged, carbonate is negatively charged. So when they combine with each other, their charges get neutralized and they form calcium carbonate, which is a compound. Similarly, magnesium, a positively charged radical, will combine with hydroxide, a negatively charged radical, to form magnesium hydroxide. And the formula of compounds containing radicals can also be written by transposing the valencies, like exchanging the valencies, and you divide them by a common factor. For example, the compound formed by copper and carbonate. Okay, copper is positively charged radical. When it combined with carbonate, a negatively charged radical, it formed copper carbonate. And not, you should not write it as Cu2 CO3 2, because the valencies must be divided by the common factor. So valency here is 2. So it must be divided by the common factor 2. So when we divide by 2 by 2, it is 1. So we should write it as copper carbonate. So these are the formulas of some compounds. So sodium hydroxide, so when you write it as radical, it is Na plus OH minus. So formula is NaOH. Ammonium hydroxide, NH4 is ammonia, which is a positive charged radical. It combines with OH minus, which is hydroxide. It forms ammonium hydroxide. So positive and negative, it get neutralized. So no need to mention the charge in the formula here. So ammonium nitrate, potassium sulfate, ammonium sulfate, copper carbonate, sodium hydrogen carbonate. So these are some of the examples, the formulas of some compounds. Next, we are going to learn about periodic table and valencies. So, elements are classified according to their characters, according to their properties, and they're placed in various position in the periodic table. And you also know that Mendeleev classified the elements, and he gave the periodic law according to which he presented the periodic table of elements. So, periodic table consists of 18 columns and groups. These columns are called as groups and they have 7 rows. When you count, you can see 7 rows are there, and these rows are called as periods. So 18 columns which are called as groups and 7 rows called as periods. So the elements with similar property, same property, they are placed in the same group. For example, sodium and potassium, they have got same property, so they are placed in group 1. And similarly, nitrogen and phosphorus, you can see in this picture, they have got same property, so they are placed in group 15. But when the elements have got different properties, then they will be placed in different groups. Students, do you know why valency is an important part of an element? It is because the valency shows the property of an element or the behavior of an element. So always there is an association between or a relation between the valency of the element and with the position of the element in the periodic table. Figure 4.9 shows the first 20 elements of the periodic table, and 1, 2, 3, 4, the first column of number is not the serial number. If you could see properly, it is the atomic number. Okay, the atomic number and the symbol and the name of the elements are mentioned here. Next, so the first 20 elements of the periodic table, they are shown in this figure 4.4. They are placed in different houses. Okay, some of the important features we must remember here is on top of these houses you could see one row with lot of numbers written 1, 2, 13, 14, 15. So what are these numbers? So these number are the number of the group. Okay, so number at the top of each column. So these are columns. On top of each column you could see some numbers here. So these are the number of the group. So this is group 1, group 2, group 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 and 18. So here after 2 you could see 3 to 12 is missing. Actually reason is they are not missing. They appear after calcium, therefore it is there is no need to consider them. And the number which is mentioned below the symbol of each element, that is below hydrogen you could see 1, below helium 2, lithium 3, beryllium 4, boron 5, carbon 6, nitrogen 7. So these number, it is the serial number of the elements in the periodic table. Okay, these serial numbers are actually very important because they are the atomic number of the element. Okay, so already we have seen in this table 1 atomic number of hydrogen is 1, helium 2. So these numbers are not only the serial number but they are also the atomic number. And in your higher classes, you will be learning about the atomic numbers. So the valencies of first 20 elements. So as mentioned below the periodic table. So below the table, you could see that valency is increasing 1, 2, 3, 4. Then it decreases again 3, 2, 1, 0. So it increases from 1, then it decreases to 0. Thus, the elements of group 1, all the elements of group 1 will have the valency 1. All the elements of group 2 will have the valency 2. Elements of group 13 will have 3. 14 will have valency 4. 16 will have valency 2. So the elements in the group 1 will have valency of 1. Group 2 will have valency 2. 13 will have 3. Group 14 elements will have valency 4. Group 15 elements valency 3. 16 to 17 will have valency 1 and 18 group 18 elements will have valency of 0 respectively. And on the basis of valency, the formula of the binary compounds formula can be written. So how do you write the formula of binary compounds? So imagine E is the element here. So E plus hydrogen, valency of hydrogen is 1. So we write EH. So any element, E is any element. It can be either beryllium or magnesium or calcium. So E plus H2 is the valency of hydrogen here is 2. So next, element plus hydrogen, a binary compound plus hydrogen, the valency will be 3. So valency will be 4 here, valency will be 3, valency will be 2. So here valency will be 1 and here it will be 0. So when we write the valency of elements, we have to transpose the valency, that is we have to exchange the valency and we have to divide it by a common factor. So this is how we write the valency. So lastly, we are going to quickly revise some of the differences between atoms, molecules and radicals. So children, this is one of the most important expected question, long answer type of question. So atom can exist independently. No, it cannot exist independently, but molecules and radicals can exist independently. So again one, atoms are not charged particles, but molecules are also not charged particles, but radicals are charged particles. And coming on to valency, atoms have valency, but molecules don't have valency, but radicals has a valency. Fourth one, number of constituent elements, only one atom has got only one atom, isn't it? Molecules will have more than one. Radicals also, it can be one or more than one. How does it take part in a chemical reaction? Atoms directly take part in a chemical reaction. Molecules will break into small atoms which take part in the chemical reaction. Radical will take part in a chemical reaction as a unit or as a group. So children, in today's class we studied about radicals. We learnt about radicals, few examples of positively charged radical, negatively charged radicals. We learnt how to write the formula of some compounds, radicals, and then we learnt about the periodic table, how periodic table and valencies are interrelated. We also studied about the valency of first 20 elements of the periodic table. So children, it's time for you to complete your assignments now. Thank you for watching this video till the end. Have a nice day.